Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We will be talking about NLP, and let us see what does NLP stand for. It stands for Neurolinguistic Programming. That is, the nervous system is involved, language is involved. So we will see what all we can get from NLP. This will be the sequence. So by virtue of NLP or by using NLP, we unlock the power of our mind and bring about effective communication. And the aim is to move from unconscious incompetence to conscious competence. And the third aim would be using strategies of resourcefulness. They say that most people are not unsuccessful because they did not put in the right effort, but because they used unresourceful strategies. So one has to adopt resourceful strategies. Why learn NLP? Because our thoughts create our behavior shapes our results. NLP helps us improve both. Now, what is NLP? Let's take a practical look at it. It is a practical toolkit for understanding how you think, improving how you feel, enhancing how you communicate, changing limiting patterns, boosting confidence and well being. It is also used for therapeutic purposes, that is, healing purposes. Now, where NLP helps, there are four negative clouds which surround our sun. We have the cloud of negative thinking, we have the cloud of negative emotions, then there are inner conflicts and there are limiting beliefs. So by using NLP, we can build up our confidence, we can communicate more effectively, we can remove limiting beliefs, we can handle stress, we can overcome fears and traumas, and we can enhance our performance and productivity. Now, core presuppositions of NLP, by this is meant that is the fundamentals of NLP. There are no unsuccessful people, there are only unsuccessful strategies. Mind and body should work together. That is, NLP adopts a holistic approach. The meaning of communication is the response. If your communication is not effective, you will not get the response. NLP also encourages flexibility in thinking. And it also deals with the unconscious mind, which is very protective. Now we receive information through various sources and we use our five senses. That is, we use our eyes, the visual image, then the ear image. Means the sounds that come into our head or brain, kinesthetics, feeling or touch, etc. And auditory, digital, internal dialogue. That is, the thinking is more dominant. So we have to see which is a person's preferred system. Somebody may resort to visual more than other things. Mostly people use this faculty, that is visual faculty. Some use kinesthetics very well. Some go in for auditory digital, which is their preferred system. These shape our experience. Now, we know that 5% is the at the conscious level that we think, 90% is subconscious, and your subconscious actually builds your reality. Then we have neural maps. Now, this is also one of the fundamentals of NLP, that your map is not the territory. We interpret reality through generalization, deletion, distortion. That is, whatever information comes to us, we either generalize it, we delete it, or we distort it. So everyone's map is different. So we must pace with them in order to create a feeling of oneness. Only once that feeling of oneness or rapport is built can we change the map of someone else. So there are many techniques. These are some of the basic ones that I'm talking about. Now, we can also use the submodalities to bring about the change. Like, for example, if a person has a bitter experience, you want to change it, you want to change the belief, then you go in for the submodalities, the fine details. Like, You ask the person, how does that thing appear to you? Is it bright? Is it distant? It is moving? Is it static? How you feel, and so on and so forth. By changing the submodalities, we can change the emotions also. And you can rewiring using submodalities. You can shift emotions by changing image size, adjusting sound tone, moving internal pictures, changing color brightness. And here, remember one thing: when we talk about communication, then there are three things that one must remember. 55, 55% of our communication is in the form of body language, the expressions that are there on our face, and about 38% is the tonality, in what way you are conveying your words, or in which way you are communicating, and 7% is the use of words. Even that too is very, very, that needs to be mastered in order to convey or communicate effectively. So there are triggers and anchors. A trigger is an automatic emotional reaction, and an anchor is a cue that gives calm or confidence. NLP teaches how to shift from triggers to anchors. That is, instead of reacting, we must press the pause button and decide in a very calm and composed way. So there are basically two models through which a practitioner of NLP solves the problems of his clients, and also can use it for self-therapy. First is the meta model. In this, powerful questions are asked, and these powerful questions are asked so that distortions are corrected, generalizations are challenged, and some of the material which was good and had been deleted is retrieved. So, language for clarity. In NLP model, we use language for clarity. It helps challenge generalizations, distortions, deletions. This expands your options. But in the Milton model, there is a different approach. It is more towards imagination, towards the use of metaphors in the languages through symbols and stories, soft suggestions, etc. So the language of imagination is more important in this case. That is, the Milton model addresses your feelings, and through cues, through myths, through symbols, metaphors, and stories, it, in a way, gives a suggestion to the person to communicate with his subconscious, and that way healing is achieved. You become what you, and in this, visualization and use of imagination is uh, carried out. You become what you repeatedly imagine. Imagination drives subconscious change. So, in a nutshell, meta model clears the weeds, Milton model plants new seeds. So, a combination of the two works wonders. Now, we can see and highlight the differences between the two. In a meta model, use of language is very specific. In Milton, it is vague. In meta, it is analytical. In Milton, it is hypnotic. In meta, you use the conscious mind more, and in Milton, you use the unconscious mind. Then you challenge maps and you utilize maps, you break patterns and you create fresh patterns. You ask direct questions, you give indirect suggestions, you clarify problems, and you facilitate solutions. So these are basic differences between the two. And you can also reframe the context, like this is something which Milton practiced. And a person who is a slow learner, or who is a little depressed because he thinks that he is lagging behind, and because he thinks that he has been put in adverse circumstances which has not allowed him to flourish. So Milton would address such a patient using this technique, that is, you reframe the context or you reframe the content. Both things can be done. Now, this is a famous Milton quote: the cactus garden. So, accepting one's own terrain, there are plants that grow only in the desert. They don't complain about the heat or dryness. They conserve it, making it useful. And their flowers come suddenly brilliantly after long quiet sessions. You might notice that somewhere inside you that same wisdom exists, a way to live beautifully even when life feels dry. You don't have to be a rainforest to bloom. So this is how Milton would treat his patients. And then this is again a very nice quote from Milton. Patients are patients because they're out of rapport with their own unconscious. That is, most of the people live a divided life. There is a conflict between their conscious and their subconscious. Patients are people who have had too much programming that they have lost touch with their inner selves. Then he says that one should set goals, there should be a timeline, and you should be able to eliminate some of the dark or gray areas which are present in you by pacing, by looking at the future timeline and settling your issues by that date which you have fixed for yourself. So a goal without a date is just a dream. And then he also goes on to say that healing cannot take place unless the conscious and the unconscious shake hands in kindness. So neurological alignment is the goal, and true change occurs when behavior matches beliefs. There is no dichotomy. Beliefs match values, and values support identity. So there are five principles of success. First of all, you should be clear about the outcome. Then you should take action. You should observe results, learn from role models, grow continuously, practice those skills which give empower you, and get rid of those habits which keep you bogged down. So strive for excellence because role models give you that inspiration. So, takeaways: NLP improves communication, NLP strengthens emotional resilience, NLP helps reshape thoughts, and the change is faster than you think. In many other therapies, the change may take some time, but in case of NLP, it is very rapid. So, in the end, self awareness, the one who understands himself understands God. This is a quotation attributed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Maula Ali, and to Christ. That is, you have to, God has given you immense potential. You have to develop your potential. You have to empower yourself. God created you for paradise, not for hell. So you have to work your way through all obstacles and wrong beliefs and distortions and generalizations and deletions. And you have to work with a clear mind without getting upset. You should not be anxiety ridden and you should not waste your energies. Thank you very much. God bless you.